90% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BG.
Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I ended up serving 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories, and I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you happen to like this, then definitely be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP Rocky, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. With that being said, man, let's hop right up into this right here. This isn't a story. This is basically just like a commentary or something that I got to say. A couple of days ago, and I ain't even going to say his name, man, but I was watching a prison YouTuber, and it was just a trip how a lot of his fans, man, was definitely encouraging him to, you know, to get caught up in this beef type stuff, you know. And it was, I don't know if I said it right now, it was a prison YouTuber. And even before then, you know, I've been tripping on how a lot of these dudes, man, these prison YouTubers seem like they like to get caught up in engaging, they're engaging with beef. They're engaging in beef with each other, man. And I would just like think like, man, that's crazy, you know, and that's something that I definitely try to stay away from, you know. So this particular story or comment, you know, commentary right here is not inspired by the death of the dude Savage Studios, but I definitely wanted to speak on it after I seen him get killed, because I was just thinking to myself, like I said, how, you know, I see a lot of people in the comments of these prison YouTubers who are going back and forth, and, you know, they're encouraging like, yeah, stand up to him, say this, say that, without necessarily realizing that sometimes, you know, these are individuals' lives that are potentially at risk and on the line, you know. And so you know, I'm sure a lot of these dudes who leave these type of comments and stuff, you know, in the event dude happens to get killed, you know, they might mourn for a hot second, probably not even that, but they gonna move right on to the next YouTuber, you know. And I just think that you know, that's crazy that sometimes they encourage that stuff. And I definitely think it's even crazier for the prison YouTubers who've been to prison to come out and get caught up in this stuff, man. Because I definitely know that being locked up, being in prison, a big part of doing time, man, was having respect. A big part of doing time was not being seen as a cell soldier, man. And so for some of you guys who are unfamiliar with the California lingo or maybe the prison lingo, a cell soldier is basically this, man. A person who, once he's locked in the cell, he's yelling, he's woofing, he's talking a whole bunch of crap, you know. And then when he's released, more than likely he's not fit to come out and get cracking it, man. That's just not the way individuals do time, man. You know, the individuals who consider themselves solid dudes, you know, all that screaming and hollering behind the cell, just come out and do what you got to do. You know, that, you know, dudes was really frowned upon for doing that type of stuff. And so it's a trip for me now to see a lot of these YouTubers, prison YouTubers, get caught up in this type of stuff, man. And so that's why, if anybody's ever paid attention, that's been something that I've always stayed away from, is you know, the social media beef. You know, I definitely think it's easier to get more popular and be more visible by creating a YouTube beef, you know, going at it with this dude or that dude. You know, there's sometimes, man, I may have certain opinions or comments that I may want to leave about a particular controversy that's going on, but for the most part, I stay out of it, because I look at life like this, man. You know, I've done 24 years straight in prison, and that was a great place for me to be if I wanted beef, man. I could come out of my cell any given day, turn to the left or turn to the right, and find somebody to beef with. You know, if I wanted to beef, I should have stayed in prison, you know. So I definitely want to get out here and enjoy, you know, just enjoy my freedom, man. And then I think about, you know, why people want to put themselves in a position to have to do something to somebody, or even have to have somebody do something to them. You know, I don't want to necessarily be in either, want to have to be in, I don't necessarily want to have to be in either position. You know, I just sometimes think about the conversation I might have with some dudes who, you know, I've known that's still in jail, that's been locked up 26, 27 years, you know, 30 years. If I ran across them and I had done something to somebody, you know, the conversation, you know, they would just basically ask me, you know, what was it like out there, you know, as far as being able to enjoy your freedom, being able to do what you want to do, you know, not mentioning the women, the food. And, you know, I'm pretty sure, man, 99% of them will tell me, you know what, Chill, man, you was a damn fool. You was out there doing all that stuff, enjoying yourself, and now here it is, you come back behind some stuff like that, you know. So it's a trip, man, how sometimes we lose focus, you know. um Sometimes you will hear these prison YouTube dudes get caught up, man, in you know, in the newfound success that they have, you know, and they drinking their own juice, you know. And like I said, man, who wants to be put in a position where you even have to go to prison? And then especially if you beefing with some of these dudes who are in the comments that you don't even know, you know, you don't even necessarily know what they look like. So that gives them the advantage of you, you know. Now back to this dude by the name of Savage Studios. You know, I don't know if you guys know of him. I didn't know of him either. I think I may have seen him. You know, once I seen he had got killed or whatever, I went back and looked up some of his stuff, and I definitely had seen his face somewhere on YouTube somewhere. But apparently, the dude was a dropout, man, and a dropout is somebody who, for whatever reason, had left their gang. You know, and so you know, he definitely was caught up in beefing with a lot of dudes, man. You know, um, I definitely seen a lot of people had some negative things to say about him. He would diss dead people. You know, he drop his location and tell people to pull up on him and all this type of stuff. And so I guess according to a lot of reports out there, they have found a suspect responsible for his death. I'm not gonna say the dude's name here or whatever, but you know, you can easily research that and find that out if you want to. But I guess, you know, he was involved in some type of ongoing beef with this dude, man. And some type of way, I guess the dude found out where he was at. I don't know if he, you know, if he told the dude to pull up on him or what, but from what I seen, you know, the guy had stole the truck and pulled up on him at, you know, at one of his favorite hangouts, a tattoo shop. You know, hopped out on him and gave him the business. You know, and that's the you know, that's the bad part, man, about beefing sometimes with some of these individuals, because it may start out small, but then you necessarily may not know how much continued animosity this dude may build up, you know. And so you out there doing your thing, you know, and you, every time you say something to him, he feels you're nitpicking at him or whatever, then he may feel that you have a bigger platform, you know, you have a bigger stage to embarrass him on and make him look foolish, you know, especially if you YouTubing, because you're reaching more people. And who knows, man, the anger, you know, this dude may develop and want to finally come see you one day when you least expect it, you know. And so to me, is all that worth it? You know, you may be running around, you might be armed, you know what I'm saying? Somebody might run up on you or whatever, and you waiting for him, and then you lay him down. But then again, how's that going to benefit you in the long run when you sitting back in prison, man? You know, man, I'm going to go into a small story. Right before I got out of prison, man, I ran across a dude by the name of Big Football, man. Big Football is from A-Tray Gangsta Crip. I don't know if you guys remember during the Rodney King riots, when the guy hit the white dude, the white truck driver in the head with the brick. That was his younger brother. That was Football. That was his younger brother. So anyway, Big Football had done 30 years, somewhere around there, on a life sentence, and had got out. And he ended up coming back to jail, man. You know, just some things up. They caught him with a gun. He came back to jail. Now, I didn't know who he was before I met him. Now, when I met him, I failed to mention that when I met him, I had already been found suitable. So I was just waiting to go home. I might have had 2 or 3 months left. So we're in the building at CMC West, and he comes in. You know, this building was it was a building where it was kind of like somewhat like a reception building where they would bring the new convicts who just pulled up, and then once they would figure out where they was going to be housed, they would move them, move them out, But every day I look at him, man, and he was angry. I mean, and that's what made me kind of like pay more attention to him than normal, because you could just see the pain and the anger, the frustration in his face, man. This dude was angry. Like I say, if y'all keep up with my stories, I ain't seen a dude looking this angry since I was in the county jail. I told you guys there was a dude by the name of Dog when I happened to get into a fight. I think the story was when I got into the fight with the Paisa dude and he choked me or whatever. And Dog used to look angry. It seemed like I was just bumping the Dog going to court all the time. And, he was just super, super angry. And like I say, this dude right here, football man, he looked like that, just mad, just like really you didn't want to go over there and say nothing to him because you could see that this dude was angry and upset or whatever. So, eventually, man, me and him started talking and, he told me the story, basically how he had been free, for a year or two. He had done 30 something years and now he was locked back up again. And just the misery that dude was experiencing, man, it was sad. And for me, it was good to see for me because I kept it in my mind, man. I kept it in my mind that I never would want to experience what he was experiencing, because like I said, once you do all that time and you regain your freedom back, oh, it's priceless, man. It's priceless. And then to look up one day and find yourself incarcerated again and see when you go home as a lifer, you on life parole. So you have to go back to the board again and you have to face the board. And, it's going to be rough, man. They're going to look at you like, damn, we just let you out. We trusted in you that you would get out and make the right decisions. And you would put the things that you learned in these self-help groups into practice in the event you'd have an experience pop up where you would need to use your self-help tools and you didn't, So why should we give you another chance? And it's going to be hard getting out for anybody that goes back while they on life parole. And so, like I said, that, not to say that we all perfect, because since I've been out, I done made a couple things. I done a few things that I would definitely take back if I had the chance, So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, for me, I like to stay mindful of where I don't want to go, And so, like I said, with this individual Savage Studios, man, to have somebody that angry at him and want to kill him and actually did kill him over some YouTube stuff is crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all another quick story. I'm not gonna say where I was or whatever, but one day, and matter of fact, it was one of my first times being recognized as a YouTuber. So I'm leaving this certain place, and the dude says, "Hey, Chill." And I'm thinking like, who the hell is calling me? You know what I'm saying? And I look up, he says, "Hey, Chill." And I look up over there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I recognize you from YouTube." And the dude goes to talking, right? And maybe about our conversation hadn't went on for about a minute where something told me this dude is a little bit off, He got to telling me how well he could fight and all this old type of stuff. And that I think he told me he used to hang. He looked like he was white, but I think he told me he hung with the Southern gang, the Serranos and this and that. So now immediately, not because he said he hung with the Serranos, but immediately in my head, once he started telling me this, I'm thinking like, damn, I might have to bust this dude up. Because now he's telling me how good he can fight. Everybody knows how tough he is. So I'm thinking that because, sometimes in my stories, I'm telling him, beep, beep, boop, bop, bop. I'm thinking that he might want to test my hands and I'm just to bust this dude up. So, by me being in prison for such a long period, man, I developed a couple habits that I still use to this day. I always look to see where a person's hands is, I think that comes from being in prison. I watch a person's hands when they walking past or whatever, especially if we having words, to see if they got a knife in their hand or whatever, And so, and I always give myself 3-4 feet, I call that the no danger zone, because a lot of times you will see when people are fighting or people are getting ready to fight on YouTube or wherever, they standing face to face and they talking stuff, and then one dude just swings and knocks the other dude out. Well, because in my opinion, you was in that no danger zone. You shouldn't be talking stuff and talking mess to a person in distance of being able for that person to hit you. Another thing, man, I try not to raise my voice and get loud when I'm talking to people, but when you're talking to someone, you can tell what type of conversation that you having, and I feel that, look, I can hear you clearly from here, 3, 4 feet away. So once you come within a certain distance, you trying to do something to me, and I'm just to get off. You know what I'm saying? I'm just to let these hands go. And so, I feel that sometimes that's extremely important in not getting knocked out. It don't make no sense to be so close to a person where he can hit you. So of course I'm keeping this dude, this weirdo that I didn't ran across, outside of my danger zone. But like I say, he's telling me how tough he is, and just I could tell that the dude wasn't all there, whatever. And so he's telling me like, how tough he is. Everybody knows he can fight and all this type of stuff. So I'm like I said, I'm thinking that maybe because I tell these stories sometimes about fighting, he wants to see how tough I am. You know what I'm saying? I didn't got a couple of comments in my section from time to time that, oh, dudes that go to prison, the gang members, they think they so tough. So you never know what an individual is thinking, man. And so, like I said, why would you put yourself in a position, to have to hurt somebody or possibly have somebody hurt you, man? Life is good, and so that's just me personally. Like I said, I done all that time, man, and I'm definitely not trying to go back to prison, and especially behind some stupid stuff, so yeah, it makes it makes no sense. It makes no sense, man. Like I say, intentionally doing things that's gonna lead to a beef. Because for me, and I'm just being real, I'm not trying to be tough, man. Being violent and all that type of stuff, that's the easy part. Being an individual who came, who had been out there in the streets and gang banging for quite some time, being out there selling dope and this and that, that was natural. And so that's why sometimes people wonder, for all the people that's in prison, how is it easy for them to, to run up on somebody, punch them, kick them, or do whatever. We've been seeing that stuff happen for a long, long time. So after a while, it becomes natural, becomes second nature, and sometimes it even becomes fun when you young and you immature. I mean, I remember plenty of times, man, we didn't either beat somebody up or saw somebody get beat up and we thought it was funny. Nowadays, it may not be so funny. But back then, when you're young, you're immature, stuff like that is funny. As long as you're not the victim, it's funny. And so that's how it's natural. It's natural. After a while, it becomes natural. It becomes second nature, like I said. And so, sometimes when we run out of intelligence, ignorance kicks in. So what I'm trying to say is, for me and a lot of other gang members and people who've been to prison or whatever, sometimes it's easy to be violent. It's easy to be violent. It's easy to lose your cool and resort back to what you know best. The hard part for me is staying peaceful. The hard part for me is, because being locked up in prison, like I said before, is based on a lot of respect. And sometimes a lot of us, myself included, feel like we're entitled to a certain amount of respect, a certain amount of space, or if not, we going upside your head because that's the life that we lived for so long. For a person who's never been to prison, you would be extremely surprised on how many excuse me's you hear, how polite people are in prison. But that same dude that's polite, man, and will tell you, excuse me, listen, I had a homie and I just got off the phone with him today. He's been locked up about 25, 26 years. He's trying to come home. He said he was in a cell with this one dude, man. He said, man, that dude is so polite, it's sickening. He said, man, every other second, the dude is saying, excuse me, man, excuse me, let me get by you, excuse me. I mean, the dude was extremely polite. I forget how many years that he ended up doing, maybe 17, 18. That dude was polite as can be. But the dude was no joke either, man. The dude he does all that time. He gets out of prison. I don't know how long he stays out. But he's back in jail again now for shooting and killing 3 people, And so I won't go into what he's accused of, but that same polite individual will take your head off in a heartbeat if he feels disrespected. And a lot of times people feel like that because they feel like, man, I'm giving you all the respect in the world, So why would you do that? Why would you disrespect me? You must think, it's something that you can do. And I'm just to show you the exact opposite. And I'm gonna keep it honest, that's how I felt. Like I said, for a long time in my life, I was a small dude and I had the feeling that bullies only pick on people they feel that they can bully. So in the event a person did pick on me, I was trying my hardest in doing the best in my possibility to show him that I'm not the one. No matter if I had to pick up a baseball bat, whatever, any type of weapon, I was just to go upside your head with it. And so that's all I'm saying. You would be surprised how polite people are in prison. Prison is not as, the idea that people who've never been to prison think that it's just all, everybody's in there and disrespectful. You have a lot of polite killers who will take your life. And so, like I said, I don't want to do anything, man, to put myself back in that situation. And so that's a big reason why I stay away from YouTube beef, man. Just to me, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, man. But anyway, like I said, that's just something that I was thinking of. And then a day or two later, I seen where this prison YouTuber Savage Studios got killed. So it definitely made me want to just come on here and give my opinion on that, And so you guys keep in mind too, you guys that's leaving comments and kind of like egging these dudes on to stand up to this prison YouTuber and say this to that prison YouTuber. Leave that stuff alone, man. These are people's lives, man, that you guys are encouraging to do this and do that. And like I say, if somebody gets hurt, or somebody have to go do some time, you're not supposed to show up at the hospital, and you're not supposed to go do the time with them. And especially to the prison YouTubers out there, man, y'all be smarter than that, man. Leave that old sucker stuff alone. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume
the Kumi and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beast, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters gon' move.